Okay. One is of me and Olivia on our pedicab ride. I'm going to talk about a pedicab ride. And
Good morning, everybody. Wake up.
Wake up, wake up.
In Provincetown. This week featuring
Wake up, wake up.
Can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Make it strong, please. Hey. Oh. Hey.
Wake up, wake up.
Oh. Whee! No, really, can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
good morning, everyone.
Hey guys, it's Friday, July 29th, 2022. I'm Bob Curie,
I'm Harrison Fish.
and this is Wake Up in Provincetown.
It is.
Thanks for joining us. I hope everybody's having a good morning so far.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We've got a great
No
show for you
complaints.
today.
Yeah.
Who's on?
We have Stephen and Joe from the play The Jerker at the Provincetown
I think it's just
Theater.
Jerker. I
Oh.
don't think there's a the.
Sorry. There is like an alternate. I think Jerker is a shortened title because the title's like extremely long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I looked it up and there's like an the real title, I guess, or the alternate title is like a paragraph, so they call it Jerker.
Oh, it's like that second Fiona Apple album. When the
title?
pawn hits the, yeah, it's like a 200-word title.
Oh, I love that.
You don't remember that?
I love Fiona Apple. Fiona Apple's been having a moment in my life.
Really? Why?
I went to karaoke and I didn't do karaoke, but everyone was asking like, "Oh, what's your karaoke song?" And my karaoke song is "Criminal" by Fiona Apple. I love doing that. And then this past Monday for trivia here at the Provincetown Brewing Company, my guest host Evan Snavely put together our audio round, and it was all you would have loved it. It was award show acceptance speeches.
This world is shit. Where she says that.
Yeah, and he did Fiona Apple's that one.
This world
It's like
is
if
shit.
you're looking to all of us to know what to do and how to dress, don't. Just be yourself. Fuck all this. She didn't say that, but
Basically,
that
she
was
said
the
all
vibe.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's fun.
What was I talking about?
Trivia.
Oh, trivia. What was I talking about?
Fiona
before
Apple.
Before that. Long titles.
Jerker.
People on our show.
And we're back.
We're back. Who else is on the show, Bob?
Terrence Mack is coming to talk about how he ended up on RuPaul's lips, the tip of her tongue.
Hey.
Literally, she said his name on TV the
I
other
know,
day.
it was wild.
Were you watching it when that happened?
Yeah, well, yeah, I watched it last Friday, and I was like, eh. And it was funny when they initially were like brought to you by the Paulette Fund. It was like, wait, what? And then I Googled it. I was like, that's what it is, Terrence's thing. I was like, I love that. Congratulations to Terrence and all the charities that he supported. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and it's Family Week, you guys. This is the last couple of days of Family Week. We got to hang out with Stacy Stevenson, who is the Family Equality CEO.
Damn.
That's helping to sponsor Family Week. She was on Matafield at the Drag Queen Storybook Hour.
Cute.
Do you know Lil Hot Mess?
I don't.
No, I think she's based in Los Angeles. It's a drag queen who is also a children's book author.
Really
and she was
cool.
reading it to these kids. And I was approaching the tent from Winslow Street, and all you could hear hundreds of kids screaming in unison, "Yes, Queen! Yes, Queen!" And I was like, "What? They're being indoctrinated. The Republicans are right."
Oh my god.
You know what? This brings me to a very important news story.
They're being indoctrinated to slay.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
If you live anywhere near Miami and South Beach, or Wynwood specifically, then you've probably been to the restaurant Our House, which is owned by a very, very good friend of mine, Rocco Carulli. Rocco used to run Edwige here for a really long time with Stephen Ferpoli. And now, Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida is trying to take away their liquor license because of their drag brunch, which I think Rocco said 600 seats a week. It's their biggest shift.
Yeah.
They sell out. You have to book weeks in advance to go to this drag brunch.
They do
It's-
multiple viewings too,
There's a
right?
couple of seatings. Fun for the whole family, and that's the problem that Ron DeSantis is having. He thinks that children should not be at drag shows because that's where they get shot and killed. Oh no, that's school. Sorry, children are in no danger at a drag show. but he's trying to take away their liquor license, which would effectively kill their business.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's unreal.
Right. I was reading about this topic, and someone said that, and they were like, the reason these people think that drag shows are inherently sexual is because these male conservative politicians can't wrap their brain around the performance of femininity not being sexual, because they only view femininity and womanhood as being for sex.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that explains that. I just can't imagine, like, it's going to, like, the state liquor board, and, like, I'm just really worried for my friend's restaurant. Like, we might go down there and protest.
I love that.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gone for the rest
Are you
of the
gonna
summer.
put on a look?
Of course.
Get in drag and protest? I love that.
I'm gonna do a number, lip sync in the
Slay.
streets in front of Ron DeSantis' house. And I mean, Ron DeSantis, isn't that a drag name?
Rhonda Santis?
Yeah.
Yes.
His name is literally a drag name. Fuck you, Rhonda Santis.
Oh my God. I love that.
So please go support our house if you're anywhere in Florida. Go to Miami right now. Somebody's going to get hurt is the point that Mark was making.
That's
like
their point.
Yeah,
That's what they want.
Yeah, a drag queen is going to get shot and killed because of this bullshit.
Right. I mean, look at, like, the most ridiculous example of this was when there were these rumors going around that there was, like, this Chinese restaurant in DC that was running a child sex trafficking ring out of the basement, and some guy, like, showed up with a gun trying to, like, shut it down, and, like, that is not gonna. My fear is that that's gonna happen.
Well, there's a lot of bullshit news outlets out there, but you heard that OAN is pretty much over, right?
Yeah, I think they got removed from, like, their last.
Verizon removed them, which
Right.
was 3.5 million viewers. DirecTV had already removed them, which was 15 million viewers. So RIP OAN.
Yeah, bummer.
Did you ever watch it?
No.
I saw it on TV once, and I was like, this is, like, straight up legit propaganda.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is not a news story. This is you trying to brainwash people.
Right.
Anybody watching it, like, it was the kind of, like, camera work and lighting designed to, like, it was like zzz, 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 and I was like, what is
Really?
going on? Right? Yes.
That's
and it's like people
wild.
watch this and think it's news. It looks like it's shot in someone's basement.
Right.
And bye bye.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people see these, like, obviously it's like surface level political issues, but, like, if you were, like, kind of read between the lines, there's, like, I often fear that these things are going to, like I said, turn into real violence, and I'm really worried with the way monkeypox is being covered right now. It's being, like, there are, like, straight up, like, legit news sources saying, like, it's an STI, which it is not. Obviously it's spread through bodily contact, which happens during sex, so it can be spread while having sex, but it is not a sexually transmitted infection. And when you position it as an STI and that it's affecting gay men, like, and first of all, there's the issue with, like, I have a friend who lives in town who goes out to bars, goes out to nightclubs, and he's like, why would I get a vaccine? He's like, he's like, should I get the vaccine even though I'm not gay? It's like, yes, you definitely should. And luckily he has since gotten it. But when you position the monkeypox virus like that, you allow people who aren't in the demographic of gay men to be more lax about it. And when you're more lax about it, you're not being, like we've been pushing to, like, be very aware, be of your own symptoms, what is going on with your body, and then you don't know you have it, and then you continue spreading it. And beyond that, because it's being positioned as this, like, gay disease, once it does transition to the general populace and in turn children, are these politicians going to turn around and say, like, oh, we told you the gay people are pedophiles. This gay STI now is in children. How did that happen?
Right.
Like, it's terrifying.
Well, you've been, like, kind of on the front lines of reporting on monkeypox.
I have. My press agent, Senator Julian Sear, has gotten me a lot of interviews over the past few weeks, but it's been a lot of fun. It's nice to be able to, like, speak about my community and get the message out in the way that I think it should be out, especially after last year. I found a lot of the coverage of the Delta outbreak here in town to be, like, mildly homophobic and very damaging to our local economy. So it's been rewarding kind of being on the front lines of getting the message out that we want to be out, and about how our community has been so proactive. and it's been a lot of fun. I did an interview for Wicked Local last week. I think that is out on their website now if you want to check that out. I also sat down with Chris Conte, who is a segment producer that he then distributes nationwide. See, can't you see why they get me to be on camera and talk into a microphone? But you can also check that out somewhere. It's kind of
Somewhere.
It's a lot of places. The link Julian sent me was like the Denver something.
So if we Google you, it's probably the first thing that comes up now.
Oh my God! Yeah, wow. But that's been really great.
Well, I mean, what did you say to them?
One of the biggest points I like to really hit home is like, as a queer community, we know all too well how taking your personal health seriously protects your entire community. And so like, they always ask me like, are people afraid to get the vaccine? And I'm like, I don't think so. In general, everyone I talk to in town has already been vaccinated for monkeypox. I think 1 in 4 doses of the vaccination that have been given in the state have been given right here in Provincetown. Thank you to our health services at Outer Cape for doing such an incredible job with that. I also love to hammer that point home when I'm doing these interviews, how amazing our local health network is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that it is, is monkeypox affecting the economy as badly as Delta did last summer?
I don't know. I am hearing people are feeling like the town isn't quite as busy as it has been, and I don't know exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like there's so many reasons why. It could be like a lot of people haven't been able to travel internationally over the past few years because of COVID, and now you kind of can. So maybe people are taking the advantage in the summer of having time off to travel internationally rather than staying here in the States and coming to Provincetown. People might be afraid of COVID. People might be afraid of monkeypox. Who knows?
Is Provincetown pricing people out? Is it too
also-
expensive to come here?
It also could be that.
I mean, there are hotel rooms going for $700 or $800 a night at places that I would not consider to be an $800 a night place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
Not slamming any particular hotel or anybody
Name
else,
them.
but it's like,
No, I'm just kidding.
well, no, I mean, there was a lady at the bar the other day who was like, I'll have 2 glasses of Pinot Grigio, and she held out a $20 bill, and I was like, well, who's going to pay for the second one? And she said, oh, I forgot where I was.
Where are you? Where are you otherwise that you can get 2 glasses of wine for under $20?
And yeah, and expect money back from it.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
But you know, people come here and they're like, "What a crazy expensive town this is."
Yeah.
But my motto has always been: Did you go on vacation to save money? You went on vacation to spend it, right?
So spend it by putting it in my pocket.
Save money at home. Go on vacation and just be. You know, what's another drop in the bucket? That's it. When I'm on vacation, I'm like,
right.
this one's gonna hurt. Like when I see this credit card bill 6 weeks from now, it's gonna
Right.
fucking hurt.
It's
worth it.
But like people like you and me and a lot of people here, like we're able to do that. A lot of people aren't. You know what I mean? Which is unfortunate because like in an ideal world, everyone who wants to experience this place that we all call magical, this place that so many people call their happy place, and like there's a lot of people that are priced out, which is unfortunate. If it's your happy place, don't you want to share that? If it's such a magical community, don't you want to share that with everyone? It's tough.
Yeah. There's also a way to like do it more affordably. There's a lot of stuff that you can do in Provincetown that's basically free.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Look at the bike trails.
Yeah.
Like I mean, our ecotourism and our nature here is kind of unmatched.
Right.
And it's such an amazing experience. In general, all of it's free.
Yeah. But do go to restaurants and buy wine.
I kind of like thought of this analogy of Provincetown. Like Provincetown is a sponge. You can either be a person who's wetting the sponge or wringing the sponge out. And I feel like lately there are too many people wringing the sponge out.
Ooh. Go on.
You know what I mean?
Expound on that.
I mean, there's people like you and me, and like all the people in this room who are part of this project. Like this project specifically is wetting the sponge. We're creating culture. We're creating, and I'm not bragging or being like, we're all doing this and we love it. But and then there's other people who come here, purchase homes, treat those homes like buildings and houses and businesses rather than homes, and they come here to wring as much money out of this town as they can, and they don't give back, and they're actively destroying the town. They're changing the culture, they're allowing less people to come here, and it is a problem that it will eventually affect you.
Me?
No, the people that are doing it.
Oh,
You know what I
you.
mean? Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah.
But you. You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Yins.
Yeah. So yeah.
So what'd you do this week?
I had a really fun week right after the show here. I worked at the brewery. I also got that interview in really quick here at the Provincetown Brewing Company. Sunday night was really spectacular. Well, Sunday started really great. We had our first jazz brunch at the Red Inn. It was a lot of fun. It was really great.
Was it Bert?
It was Bert. It was really great to see Bert and his band back at the Red Inn. That was something that went away because of COVID. Yeah. And it's really nice to see it back. It's really fun to hear the do 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 do.
Oh, that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one.
That's the ending one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We always. That's always the last song at Jazz Brunch. We love you, Bert, and your band. They were so spectacular. Come on in Sunday morning. We open at 11 till 2.
And it's probably Bert's last summer doing Jazz Brunch. I heard he's moving to Hawaii.
No. Fine.
I mean, it is beautiful there.
Yeah,
I want to go to.
guess.
Take me with you, Bert.
Yeah, right.
I'll learn how to play saxophone.
Yeah. But our first guest said it was the best French toast he'd ever had in his life. The chicken and biscuits are
Oh my God,
incredible.
the chicken and biscuits.
Yeah, it's also very affordable.
It is.
Yeah. So stop in. I'll be there.
And then you were off on Sunday night for the first time all summer.
So obviously, what do you do when you're off for the first night this summer in Provincetown? You go see Joao Santos' show. But I saw Insomnia Sunday night at 7:30 at the Wave Bar. I actually saw it with Joao's really good friend Olivia Lux, who is a drag queen that we've had on our show before. She was on season 13 of RuPaul's Drag Race. She was in town for a few days. I had so much fun with her. Joao's show was so incredible. It's wild to me to think that, like, beginning of the pandemic, me, him, and Mike Flanagan were like singing songs in Joao's living room, and now Joao has like a fully realized, fully conceptualized, incredible show. The lighting is incredible, the sound is incredible, Andrew's incredible, the dancers are incredible. Johnny Bissoni plays his slide guitar in it. It's just a really smart, incredibly creative show, and you should definitely go see it. Yeah. 7:30's at the Wave Bar.
On Sunday nights.
Yeah, honestly, I've seen a few shows in the Wave Bar, and I'm really loving that space as like kind of a really intimate cabaret space. I saw Elle's show last week. We had Elle on the show last. Mackenzie's show I haven't seen quite yet because I work that slot at the Red Room, but I'm gonna try and make it. But I've heard it's absolutely
What night is
incredible.
Mackenzie?
Thursdays. I think her show's at like 9 or 9:30, and I have to be in it at the Red Room at 9.
And that's in the Wave Bar or the Paramount?
That's in the Wave Bar.
I saw Kaya in the Wave Bar on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Have you been there for
No,
that?
I was
oh my
not.
God, incredible.
Yeah.
Just, she's phenomenal.
Yeah, Todd Alsop is also in there tonight. Yeah, if you're an if you're a George fan.
I mean, Elton John was just in Boston. Is that why he's on your mind?
Yeah.
Like a bunch of people went.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh.
Because there's news.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was so much fun hanging out with Olivia. I actually, she got into town last minute, so I was like, how are we going to get into town? And I was like, I'll take a pedicab. And it was actually my first pedicab ride ever.
Ever?
I've never taken a pedicab in town.
Which driver did you get?
So it was actually so magical and serendipitous. So there's this one driver who I've been objectifying in my mind all summer. He's so handsome, and I have a crush on him.
What's his name?
So I call, this person answers, I'll be there in 5 minutes, we're waiting by the street, and all of a sudden turns the corner, and I turned to Olivia and I was like, oh my God, this is my favorite one. I'm so glad we got this one. He was so sweet. His name is Marion. If you see him in the street, hand him a 5. Take a ride with him. But after I got off, I paid him, and I don't know if you know, but the pedicabs here in town, it's kind of pay what you want. And so I paid him, and then he's like, oh, do you want my number just in case you want another ride anytime? And I was like, I must have overpaid him.
How much did you give him?
An amount. I gave him $40.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. But
That's-
like, also like, I'd rather be known in town for being an outrageously generous tipper than the opposite. And it was one of those situations where I didn't quite know what I should be tipping.
Well, there were 2 of you on the pedicab?
Yeah.
Oh, $20 each? That's not that. I mean, what's normal?
How long was the ride?
Harbor Hill to the Crown and Anchor.
That's
yeah.
generous.
I am able to pay that, and I was happy to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun, my first pedicab ride. But I hung out with Olivia for a little bit while she was in town. We went to Sean Treadwell's gallery and chatted with him. We stopped by House of LaRue, which was really cute. We were walking around, and she walked to the back of the store where the shoes are, picked up a pair of white shiny pumps. She goes, This is literally where it all started. She's like, I bought these shoes, my first pair of heels. I bought my first wig right here at House of LaRue. She was here visiting Jouot. She was from New York, and she saw, I think, Showgirls. And she was like, I want to do that. Went to House of LaRue, bought a pair of heels, bought a wig, and now 3 years later, she is traveling the world as a drag artist. And I think that is a Provincetown success story.
Totally.
I'm trying to convince her to move here for like a month next summer and do a residency. She's so talented. She plays piano. She has a few songs on Spotify. Check them out. They were all collaborations with our lovely baby Jouot. So yeah, check it out.
Who else was at the table with you?
Oh, I actually I had a VIP table with Olivia and Miss Cracker, who is doing a residency at the Art House. I haven't had a chance to check out her show, but I think I'm going to be able to check it out in the next week. We are hoping to have her on the show next Friday. Yeah, I think we're also gonna have Varla Jean Merman, so it's going to be like a really incredible episode of Wake Up for you drag fans. One of my favorite queens from RuPaul's Drag Race is Miss Cracker. She's so much fun. If you haven't had a chance, check out her show at the Art House. And my favorite drag queen in the world, obviously, is Varla Jean Merman. She's incredible.
Speaking of drag fans, who's going to win All Stars tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great day for queer people today as Beyonce's album came out, and also it is the finale of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 7, all winners. And so the top four is our hometown-ish queen, Jinx Monsoon, Shea Coulee, who's my number one, I live, and who else? Monet Exchange, and also Trinity the Tuck, who I think is one of the most impressive drag queens to ever be on that show. Tonight is the finale. Check it out. It's going to be tons of fun. Who I think will win is Jinx Monsoon. Who I want to win is Shea Coulee. Who I think should win is Trinity.
Really?
Yeah. So, whoever wins, we'll see. Yeah, and it's been a season of really great television, so no complaints.
Excellent.
Yeah. Also, Beyonce's album came out today.
Have you listened to it 10 times already?
No, but it did come out at midnight, as most music does. And then at the end of the underwear party last night, the DJ was playing "Break My Soul," and I was like, "Why aren't we getting something new, girl? It came out 45 minutes ago. Give me a new track." But it has been 6 years since Beyonce's last solo album, which was Lemonade. Which was Lemonade. This seems to be her queerest album yet. The lead single, "Break My Soul," had Big Frida, who is a queer artist based out of New Orleans, on it. And she actually, so this past week, she released a statement about the album coming out. She dedicated the album to her family, and specifically her Uncle Johnny, and the LGBTQ community.
She did?
Yeah, she said, "A big thank you to my Uncle Johnny. He was my godmother and the first person to expose me to a lot of the music and culture that serves as inspiration for this album. Thank you to all the pioneers who originate culture, to all the fallen angels whose contributions have been unrecognized for far too long. This is a celebration for you." And she's speaking about her Uncle Johnny, who passed away due to complications of HIV and the AIDS virus. So, yeah. So I think it's really cool. She's spoken about her uncle before, Johnny, at the GLAAD Awards when she and her husband Jay-Z received the Vanguard Award in 2019. And I think that's really fun. The album is kind of like a throwback to like 90s queer culture and the house music scene. So yeah, I'm really excited to hear it. I haven't had a chance yet.
Just play it today at work.
Yeah, actually, that is definitely what we're gonna do. Yeah.
Do you have to be on Tidal?
No, I think this is on Spotify. But I did notice, usually when things come out, like I see it all over my Spotify, and I opened up Spotify this morning and there was no trace of Beyonce on my homepage, so they must be fighting.
Well, were you spelling it Beyonce?
Maybe. Yeah. In other music news, we touched on it a little earlier. Remember when you said Elton was on my mind? So Elton John had a show Thursday night in Boston, and there's been rumblings going around of a duet that he's going to be releasing soon. Elton John did a duet that kind of has been the song of the year over the past year, which was Cold Heart featuring Dua Lipa. You've heard it at every club you've been in the last year, kind of anywhere you've been in the last year. But he announced, not that he announced, but there are rumblings of a new duet, a re-record of everyone's favorite Tiny Dancer with the legendary Britney Spears. That's going to be so much fun. It is alleged, and the sources that are reporting out are like TMZ, Page 6, so like, who knows? But I was at the Red Inn on Wednesday night working, and this gentleman came in and sat at the bar, and he was chatting with people next to him. And he was like, oh, well, I have a show tomorrow. And I was like, oh, where? And he's like, oh, in Boston. I'm like, oh, what do you do? He's like, oh, I'm a musician. I'm in Elton John's band. And I was like, no way. I was like, I heard a rumor that he re-recorded Tiny Dancer with Britney Spears. And he's like, oh, yeah, we did that last week. And I was like,
He's on that?
yeah. So I'm going to take that as a confirmation. And I'm excited.
You confirmed it here first, people.
Yeah, right. So the rumor is that Universal Music will drop the single next month, and according to insider sources, this was Elton's idea, and obviously Britney is a huge fan of Elton John, and all the sources are saying it's incredible, it's going to be amazing. In 2015, we know Britney Spears is a fan of the song because in 2015 she tweeted, "Tiny Dancer, #Elton always."
Oh,
Yeah,
it's not my favorite Elton song.
me either. But it's cute. It's actually one of the when I was in high school, I was in the I don't want to say elite choir, but the elite choir, and we did 2 cabarets a year. And the first one I ever did was our pop cabaret, and I actually sang Tiny Dancer.
Oh.
And it was like one of the first times I had ever sang like a solo in public.
So you have a special affinity for it.
Yeah. Now I can sing it in the original key. I couldn't then.
Why?
It was too high.
As a child, it was too high
I
for
wasn't
you,
a
but
child.
but
I
as
was
an
like
adult,
16.
But you can sing
And
it
I
now.
learned and grew and made my voice better. Yeah. An update on Brittany Griner and her situation in Russia. So this past week, she appeared in court, and also there was a press conference, and they did reveal that President Biden has offered a deal for Brittany Griner and one other American. The other American is Paul Whelan. He's been detained in Russia since 2016 on spying charges that he does still deny. He is serving a sentence of 16 years in prison. And during the press briefing on Wednesday, it was stated that the deal was offered weeks ago, but they are in communication with the Russian government trying to make this deal happen. He said he couldn't get into specific details because it could compromise the deal, but there is a rumor that it is they might be trading him for a Russian arms dealer who's currently serving 25 years in prison. In a Russian courtroom on Wednesday, Griner said, "I still don't understand to this day how they ended up in my bag," which is the first denial of I assumed she was like, oh, and I'm gonna take my vapes. And then because here in America, we're so used to it kind of being allowed that we're like not worried about it. And I figured she threw it in her bag, and now obviously is because of the difference in laws, like being punished for it. But now she's seeming like that she's kind of denying that she ever like knew they were in her bag. She also stated that she was forced to sign documents upon her arrest that she didn't understand, and she only had Google Translate on her phone to like decipher these rough Russian documents. So it's the more details we know, the more messy it seems. But we're hoping that Brittany will be able to come back to America shortly.
Free Britney.
Oh yeah, that hashtag will never go away. Oh, another cool story. So if you're paying attention to like politics and the Roe v. Wade conversation, Matt Gaetz, being a total asshole like he is, he said in a speech that he's like, why is it always the women that no one wants to impregnate talking about abortion rights? Like, what a fucking idiot. So a 17-year-old tweeted about it, and she said, "It's come to my attention Matt Gaetz, alleged pedophile, has said that it's always the odious 5'2", 350-pound women that no one wants to impregnate who rally for abortion. I'm actually 5'11", 6'4" in heels. I wear them so small men like you are reminded of your place." Right. That tweet went viral. She's 17, but she is a member of she is a political strategist for Gen Z for Change, and she took her activism and the virality? Okay. Of her tweet to capitalize on it, and she actually started a fundraiser which has now raised $700,000 for abortion care.
Wow.
She's going to be splitting that $700,000 between 50 different abortion charities and organizations. So congrats to her.
Wow.
And that's really killer. See? No matter your platform, you can stand up and talk about serious issues affecting the queer community.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone from Provincetown or the Provincetown community was able to make it down to Nantucket Folk Fest this past week. But last weekend in Nantucket there was the Folk Fest, and something kind of iconic happened. Joni Mitchell performed, which I don't know if people know, but that's kind of, it's really incredible because she hasn't performed in over 20 years and performed a solo set in over 20 years and also hasn't performed live since 2015 when she suffered a brain aneurysm. But she came to do a surprise set with musician Brandi Carlile. It was 13 songs, which is her first full-length live set in more than 20 years. She's been keeping a low profile since 2015 when she had that brain aneurysm, so it is incredible to see her back out and about and performing. She sang, she played guitar, and she actually had to relearn guitar after suffering her brain aneurysm, so congratulations to Joni Mitchell. Also in the set were Mumford from Mumford & Sons, Winona Judd, Blake Mills, and many others. Carlisle said, "No one brings folk singers together like the humility of trying out a new song in front of Joni fucking Mitchell," which I can imagine is wild. They sang Carrie, A Case for You, and Both Sides Now. And after the performance, Joni said, "I've never been nervous about being in front of an audience, but I want to do it good, and I wasn't sure I could be, but I didn't sound too bad tonight."
That's great.
Yeah, really incredible, really fun.
And if you are in town tonight, I believe Scream Along with Billy is doing the entire playlist, that set list, tonight at the Grotto Bar.
That's killer.
Right.
That's really fun. Oh, I also just wanted to touch, I read an article in the Provincetown Independent by our friend Paul Benson. It was about COVID, and it was actually pretty surprising. So case numbers are incredibly high in Provincetown, but there have been no COVID patients in the ICU for the past month at Cape Cod Hospital. And also the hospitals in Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, which is like such an outrageous success. It shows that people are taking their health seriously. It shows that the vaccines are working. It might also show that this current variant, as much as it seems like it is really like tearing through and ravaging and really spreading really great, it doesn't seem to be having any serious negative effects on people. And they're also showing that they're obviously still testing wastewater, and the results are showing that there are double or triple the numbers during that compared to last year's Delta wave.
Really?
Which is not good news, but obviously the saving grace in that is the fact that there's no ICU cases.
Yeah, so there's a lot more of it, but it's just not that bad.
Yeah.
That's great.
He also reported that Provincetown had the highest wastewater readings in the country.
We're number one. We're number one.
Number one and number two?
No, our number two is number one.
That was on one specific day in May. So it's not a trend that we're the highest in the country, but it is on one specific day in May.
In May.
Yeah, but thank you for that coverage from the Provincetown Independent and Paul Benson.
Woo!
Yeah. That's all I got.
That's all your news stories?
We're throwing things now?
It fell. It dropped.
Yeah.
What do we have to show people?
Should we do the Stacey's?
Yeah, so Family Equality is based in New York. Stacey herself lives in Dallas, though. And so she's got two young boys, she and her wife, and I first read about them in the paper the other day. And she was like, I think they're like 6 and 8 or something. They're like little kids. And she was like, last year when we brought them for their first family week, they were looking around, seeing all these pride flags and Black Lives Matter posters. Like, it just meant so much to them to be in a place where they could truly be themselves. You know, Dallas is not the most open-minded place, so I just think it's so cool that they can come to Provincetown, just act out whoever they really feel they are. It's so important, and it was so nice to talk to her and meet her the other day. So enjoy this interview.
I just realized we didn't do that.
If you're a drag queen and you know it, shout yes, queen.
Yes, queen!
Wow. You're awesome.
Oh, of course. Oh, thank
Good morning, everybody. I'm right here in the middle of Family Week with Family Equality, Stacy Stevenson. Even though her organization is based in New York, she's from Dallas. How are you finding Provincetown, Stacey?
I love Provincetown. This is my second year here in Provincetown for Family Week, and it's absolutely magical.
This is really cool.
It's very cool.
Is this the first time they've done a drag queen story hour?
No, it's not the first time. Absolutely no. It's the first time that my boys have actually joined the drag queens story hour, and they are loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about how you're bringing what's positive from the South up to Provincetown.
So we are having an event called Y'all Means All. Actually, it's called Family Night. And the theme of Family Night is Y'all Means All. And given my background, I'm born and raised in Texas. Given what's going on with the legislation in some of our southern states, we decided to theme this event based on a Texas theme or southern theme, which is Y'all Means All, and bring all the good parts of the South to P-Town. So we're gonna have barbecue, and we're gonna encourage people to do Western wear, and we're gonna have a Dolly Parton cover band, and all the great things that make the South great without the hate.
And you've got two young boys, and I was reading in the paper about how last year they were walking down the street, seeing all the pride flags, seeing the Black Lives Matter flags. Like, what has it meant to them to be here right now?
Oh, it means everything. It means that they get to see themselves represented in the families here. And in our city and our suburb that we live in Dallas, they don't get to see that all the time. So when they get to P-Town, they feel so much more comfortable. They don't feel that they have to explain themselves. Why do they have two moms? None of that exists here. And they just feel free and they can actually be kids.
That's so great. And I mean, you know, as a middle-aged gay man, I have to explain to people all the time why I love Family Week so much. Because I look at kids like your boys and I'm like, these are the future adult lovers of Provincetown.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, they find a love of the place now and they live with that for the rest of their lives.
Yes, absolutely. And so my kids actually want to move to Provincetown. So I don't know about that. I'm not really sure if we're going to do that. But I mean, you're right. So when we left Provincetown last year, the only thing that they talked about for weeks on end was Provincetown. And as we were preparing for Provincetown again, all they talked about was Provincetown. When are we leaving? When are we going to be there? So they're going to be lifelong fans of Provincetown. And they're making friends. That's the other thing. Like, our kids get to make friends, pen pals, and they become friends for years. There's people who've been friends since 5, and now they're 16, 17 years old, and they're still meeting new family.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us for a second. This is so beautiful. I love Family Week so much. And
Thank you so much.
really nice to get
Thank
to
you so
know you
much
a
for
little
having
bit.
me.
Yes, and we'll see you guys later. Wasn't that fun?
So fun. I love hearing all the shrieks of the children.
Yes, Queen! It was so adorable. You guys, please welcome to the show Stephen Walker and Joe MacDougall, who are co-starring together in the New England premiere of Jerker.
That's right.
Slay.
Very exciting stuff.
Opens tonight?
Opens
No, Monday.
Monday.
Great,
Yeah.
great. You're like, no, it doesn't.
We're not ready. Haven't done the trimming yet, so although it's hair's appropriate for the play, so
Yeah.
it's not been much trimming going on this year.
I love that.
Tell us your story with this play.
Well, I've moved to Provincetown, and I've been dying to get more involved in the community. So I'm just waiting for the right project, and this came up. A friend in New York actually said, "Oh, David Drake has a great theatre. You should get involved." And I reached out, and he sent a couple of scripts, and I was reading this. This was a few months ago when I was sitting alone at home, and I was like, "Oh, this is such a good read. I'd love to do this." So I reached out, had the audition, got the part, said yes, but that was way back when. Now it's here, I'm a bit like, oh my God.
Right.
All that work, all that nudity. But,
So there's lots of nudity, huh?
Is there? I was wondering.
yeah, well, it's P-Town, and the only reason I'm doing this is because my mother can't come all the way from the UK. There's no way I'd be doing this in my hometown.
I love that.
Not one for mum. Would your mum come?
No, definitely not.
You've been nude on stage before, though.
Yeah, it did take me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
So this is no big deal for you.
Take Me
No, it's
Out's
a big
the one
deal.
on Broadway
It's a
now,
big deal.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big deal because that was a long time ago. So, but it's not. I mean, the play itself, it's like that. Obviously, is part of it, and it's going to be a big deal. But it is a pretty significant play in gay theater history. Like it was told at the height of the AIDS epidemic, and it is about San Francisco queers and what was happening to their community when this was going on. So it's two men who meet over the phone and it's the safest of safe sex during this time when nobody knew what was going on. So there's a lot going on in there. There is quite a bit of other stuff happening too, but it's I think it's a really beautiful play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's surprising. It is a love story, 100%. It shows you can fall in love in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that it's kind of starts kind of lustful and then kind of turns into like friendship and romance.
Yes.
Like all relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially here in Provincetown.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I'm super excited. It starts on Monday, so the nerves are slightly kicking in, but it's super exciting. I went and saw the Lady Hamlet last week. What's the proper title? Not Lady Hamlet.
Lady Hamlet.
Yeah.
It's a Lady Hamlet.
And that was such a great show. It was so good. It was fun. A lot of talent in town, and the production was great. So that really got me excited. Just a room full of buzz. So that was exciting. That made it very real.
Did David Drake direct this?
Yeah.
Yes, and he's great.
Had you worked with him before?
Yeah, well, actually, the whole reason I came to Provincetown in the first place was I've known David since the 90s, and there was one point, like 14 years ago or so, when he asked me if I'd come to Provincetown to do this play. And I was living in New York, and he was too, and then the funding fell out, and so it never happened. So now, all these years later, and yeah, so there's a lot of, I mean, for me personally, there's a lot like, oh my God, should I be? But you know, it's a great play, and I'm really happy to do it. So, but a little nerve-wracking at this point. You know,
I hear you.
A couple days out. Yeah.
Especially when it's just the two of you.
Just the two of us.
Is it like an on stage the whole time kind of situation?
Yes. Yeah, and usually, like when you're in a play, like I mean, if you're working with somebody, there's a point where you could give them a little look if like something is going a little off, and they'll pick up on it. We don't ever look at each other.
Right, because you're on the phone.
Yeah. So.
I'm getting nervous now.
You just have to send like some vibes over the.
Yeah.
Once you're in it, you're in it. You walk on stage. So I suppose the benefits of that is there's no breaking that third wall, and once you're in,
Right.
in for the ride. With, like the audience are. You know, they get that, they sit down, they watch the show from beginning to end. We're with you. So that's something new for me.
Do you have a background in acting?
I actually I acted as a child, and then I became a dancer for many years, and then I've always wanted to get back into theatre, and I can't dance anymore. I had a few ski accidents, and so I missed that performing. So this was my perfect, way to get back on stage in a very different way. Like now I use my mouth for talking.
Oh.
So it opens Monday. What's the run of the show? A month?
Yeah, through the month of August. It'll be Monday through Thursday evenings. No weekend shows until September 1st, I think.
Yeah, we have Carnival Day off, so we'll be
Great.
out there.
Oh yeah, we do have one Friday night.
Yeah,
perfect.
so that's the only time. So we get Carnival to celebrate with you guys, and then
Great.
back to the jerkin.
Do you use an American accent in it?
No,
Okay.
I was quite surprised actually. I was like, please, that's like a whole nother wall of acting.
Oh,
Like, there's
definitely.
being, I find as soon as I put an accent on, it just removes me a little in time. And
Yeah.
you know what? Us Brits have been invading the States for many years. This was written 35 years ago. So long as we can make it feel like there'll be, of course, Brits we've been coming for years, so that was fine. But it's taken such a long time to get here. 35 years. It's crazy. Is that when it was written? 35 years ago?
It's the first time it's been done in New England.
Yes.
But,
I mean, it was
it's
written.
been done in New York. It's
Yeah.
been done,
Did you guys ever like run lines over the phone? Like real life over the phone?
We talked about doing that, but we never did.
Like,
and,
that would be
and
good.
now that you've said that, I'm like, oh my God.
Go home and try it tonight.
Like, oh my God,
I know,
we should have done that.
I know. Well, I think we both are. We're both in relationships. So having to kick your husband out the bed
To have like
a dirty phone
pretend
call.
phone sex
Yeah.
it's acting.
Yeah, exactly. Although I must say, I've had my husband walking in a few times, and he gets all flustered. And
I love that.
Walks out again. He's like, "Ooh, I'm getting a little excited." And
Right.
leaves the room.
PJ.
So, I know. He gets very easily excited, that one.
You guys go to the Provincetown Theater on Monday night. Check out the New England premiere of Jerkers starring Stephen Walker and Joe MacDougall. Thank you guys so much for coming and talking.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us,
Break a
gentlemen.
leg.
Break a leg.
Break so many legs.
Thank you.
We now have the town crier. He's going to give you a little announcement about Carnival. Check this out.
Hey everybody, I'm Daniel Gomez Yata. You might know me as your town crier, but this year I'm helping the PBG to organize the 44th annual Carnival Parade, which will return after a 2-year hiatus. And we're back. It takes a village to make a legend, and in so keeping, this theme this year will be monsters, myths, and legends. Which will you be? I know what I will be. Anyway, it's not too late for you to participate, whether you want to be in a float or in a walking contingent or just a volunteer. Get ye immediately to ptown.org/carnival. And if you're not ready to fill everything out, just let us know a yay or nay whether you'd like to help us out. We'll see you there.
I didn't know that,
Okay.
but I knew now.
Break a leg.
Bye. Thank you all so
Bye,
much.
guys.
Wait, you already know who won?
No, the
So what did the town crier just say?
He said that they need volunteers for Carnival, and today's actually the last day to sign up, so do that.
Yes.
And
Okay.
register for floats,
yes.
also last day.
Oh, I have to talk to you about
So
that
exciting.
before I
have to
leave.
that.
Great, 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 great.
Minor detail.
Please welcome
Hi.
back to the show our dear friend Terrence Mack.
It's great to be back.
How are you?
I've been wonderful, thanks.
He was watching the show and texted me right away, and he's like,
Yeah.
RuPaul just said Terrence Mack's name on TV.
Yeah,
And I was like,
It
what?
was wild.
Who would have guessed?
It was funny.
Wow.
They were like, the charitable donations are going to be sponsored by the Pillow. I was like, wait a second.
It was a teaser in the beginning, and then I didn't know what was going to actually happen, so I
Yeah.
never saw it before, a little bit before it aired. So it was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
But I also realized that some people get up at 8 in the morning, if not earlier, and watch that episode, because I woke up to text being like, I saw it. I was like,
Right.
what?
First thing in the
There are
morning.
big fans that already know who won, so
We have the clip of it. We'll show you that now. Take a peek, and then we'll be. I was so goopsy hearing your name on being spoken by RuPaul. That was so cool.
it
How
was
did
a
that
little
feel?
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, oddly, 2 years ago, it wouldn't have been that exciting. I didn't start watching the show until COVID. I think like a lot of people, we watched a lot more TV when that
Yeah.
happened. I'd never seen one episode. I'd always heard about it. And then I started watching last fall, I would say, in 2021, or in 2020, and then April of 2021, I was watching season 9, which is how much I watched in that short time.
God.
It was
Did you
kind
start
of-
from the beginning?
I did. I
Wow.
watched every episode, and it became, when gyms reopened, I would get on the elliptical and I'd watch the first 20 minutes, go lift weights, and then it was like my inspiration was to watch the last 20 minutes, and I'd come back and see who won. And it was the Sasha Velour season, who was really an activist and talked a lot about her passions and what she was going through. And then she had that crazy wig reveal at the end. And I was on the elliptical still, and I texted Carson Kressley and was like, I'm really inspired by this. Is there a way, is there ever a world where we could bring a more philanthropic and charitable component into this show? I was just really inspired by listening to Sasha, and I was like, all these queens get asked to do a million charity events for free, and they all have passions and they're inner saboteurs, which Rue was really good about talking about throughout the show. I'm like, this could be a really wonderful thing, not just for the show, but for the viewers to also get to see, them be more involved in the stuff that they're really passionate about. And Carson texted me back immediately being like, actually, this sounds fantastic. And in a week, he emailed me with the producers, then I was on a few Zoom calls with them. And then by July of 2021, I was signing an NDA, and they started filming this season last summer, and here we are.
It's incredible. Congratulations. That's
It was
so
kind of
cool.
crazy. It was just one of this idea that I had of trying to disrupt philanthropy in some way. That's kind of what I've been doing for 14 years with the foundation, is reimagining what philanthropy could look like in certain ways, and I wanted to take away the power, in this case from me, of deciding where $100,000 gets to go, and give it to these queens who are living you know, these lived experiences a lot more intimately than I am. And then we got to hear, if anyone didn't see the episode in the Tic Tac Challenge or Tic Tac conversations that they had with Rue and Michelle, they gave them time to talk about the charity and why it's, you know, important to them and what their passions are, which, you know, that to me was the main goal, which was really exciting to see. Yeah. And they gave to, you know, 8 charities that I've never given to, which was even better.
Shea Coulee, the winner, the charity she chose is a charity that provides period products to people who need them, which I think is really incredible.
Yeah, it was when I had never heard of it. It's a really small charity. This money is going to do major things for them, which is really, really exciting. And all of them, you know, it was a thrill to be part of.
Who do you think is going to win?
I know, I purposely didn't watch, and I don't know, I signed this NDA, but they didn't tell me too much.
Right.
I knew more than I clearly would
Wait,
have.
do you know who wins? I guess
everyone, you could know
it's
right
out
now.
right
It's
now,
out.
okay.
It drops like first thing
Don't
on
say
Friday
it.
mornings. I don't know.
Okay, good.
I purposely didn't want to know because I was scared I would spoil it.
Yeah, I love that.
Because I spoiled it for a lot of people when I posted that last Friday. Some people hadn't seen it yet. I waited till like 8 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night, but I could have waited longer.
I think the fact that you gave
I have a favorite for
$100,000
sure.
to charity is great. Who is it?
Yeah, it's Jinx.
Okay. No, she's amazing. Yeah. Did they actually? There's going to be, I think, Saturday of Halloween weekend. There's a show at Town Hall of Jinx one soon.
Which will be very exciting.
Yeah.
And this season 2 they talked a lot about P-Town because Jinx and Raja were here together. So it was exciting to see that come throughout, and then have the Palette Fund, which is based here in Provincetown. It was a nice little P-Town moment.
Yeah, there's actually been 2 P-Town names mentioned on the show this season, as well as you. Thirsty Burlington got a little name drop on
which
the
is
show.
really exciting.
Really, really cool.
I know, it was fun. And we'll see. We are talking now to see if there's ways to work together more in the future. Like anything on the show, they don't want to do the same thing twice. So I pitched a ton of ideas to them early on, so maybe we'll go back to some of those and see where we land. But they filmed so far in advance, so they're already filming for next summer now.
This was definitely the season to be on. So
I know, it was crazy.
congratulations.
I did know that it was an all-winners season really early. It was hard to not
You didn't
say
tell me.
You actually honored the NDA.
I did.
Good
I
for
did.
you.
Yeah, remember that, RuPaul.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
You bet. It's always
and
a
for
pleasure
doing
to
good
see you
work.
both.
Always.
Yeah.
No, well, please, it's an honor, and it was really exciting to be able to do it in this way as well.
Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
I think that's a show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks to
Amazing.
all of our sponsors.
Yeah.
The Provincetown Brewing Company, the Crown and Anchor, the Red Inn, Cafe Heaven, the Be Well Cannabis Dispensary, Adam Howard's Metal Workshop at 3 Bradford Street, and ProjectValorsailing.org.
Yeah. And thank you to you, all of our viewers.
Thanks for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
See you next Friday.
Bye.
Good morning, everybody.